Well, hello everyone. I hope you are all keeping well. I wanted to jump on and make a quick video because we just had our AddictionZ 2026 conference up in the Gold Coast just last week. And I am the AddictionZ conference chair and MC. So myself and the committee were working hard all year to put on what ended up being an absolutely fabulous conference. I'm biased, but I do think it was really wonderful. So I wanted to jump on, share a couple of reflections, some thoughts based on the two-day conference that we had. And this week we are having our debrief meeting amongst the committee so that we can think about what worked well and what we can plan for the year ahead for AddictionZ 2027. One of the reasons I love the AddictionZ conference is that it brings together a number of different people who are working in some way, shape or form within the field of addiction. So we have people who are service providers, clinicians, counsellors, psychiatrists, doctors, psychologists, etc. Service providers come, as well as the organisations that are providing those services. We have people involved in research who attend. We have people who are working in policy. We have people who have lived living experience of addictions who attend the conference. So we have a number of different stakeholders and people who are in the field of addictions who are attending, which makes it a really rich, meaningful, impactful conference, and the conversations and discussions that we are able to have whilst at this conference are fabulous. So that's one of the reasons why I love it. There isn't anything that feels too hierarchical about it. Everyone's in there because they are passionate about the work that they're doing, and that really comes through. So we had some fabulous keynotes at this conference. We always have excellent keynotes as well as great concurrent sessions that run at the same time, and also some workshops as well. We opened up with none other than Johan Hari, who spoke around the connection between addiction and a sense of connection with others and belonging. To hear Johan speak live was incredible. He's such a fabulous storyteller. He really kind of captured the essence of what the conference is all about and really gave us some crucial takeaways that really set us up well for what was ahead of us for the next 2 days. And towards the end of the conference, actually to wrap us up for the 2 days, we had a workshop that was targeted on shame. Now, I've spoken about shame in some of my other videos. Shame is a big topic. It's a heavy topic, but it's a very important one for us to be talking about in the context of addiction prevention and addiction treatments and addiction recovery. So we had Hala Abdelnour, who delivered a workshop on shame and really helped us conceptualize how shame develops for an individual, as well as the unhelpful ways in which it can play out in someone's life. So that doesn't necessarily have to show up in the context of addiction. It can show up as family violence. It can show up as a number of different other things, but really kind of bringing to light that at the core of many behaviors that on the surface we can see as being problematic in someone's life, if we dig a bit further down and delve deeper, we may find that there is some deep-rooted shame there, and that is a core driver of why this particular person might be struggling with the things that they are. So Hala provided us a great way to sort of conceptualize shame, talk to our clients about the concept of shame, and then look at how they can start to move themselves out of that shame spiral. We've talked about this in videos before. Shame is so destructive. Shame makes people feel like they want to hide in the corners. But it is so important for us as treatment providers, myself as a psychologist, to be able to talk to people about shame and to help them overcome their own internal shame. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily matter what other people say when it comes to sort of self-blame and shame. It really requires a person to do that own internal work for them to sort of come out of the pits of shame, and that pit can be really destructive. So it was a great way to sort of start and end the 2 days. We also had the Mental Health Commissioner from Queensland speak as well, and he really left me with some important key things that I'm going to be thinking about for a while, particularly around innovation and questioning the need for innovation. he really kind of put forward to us, do we actually need more innovation, or do we just need better ways of streamlining and delivering the services that we already have? The reality is that we have a lot of good evidence-based treatments for people who have addictions. And yes, innovation is great, but how can we do better at collaborating with other services and establishing, I guess, services that don't necessarily always require this dependence on cycles of funding that might be kind of present at one point but disappear at another point? How do we establish those effective collaborations so that we can strengthen the delivery of those services? So that was really crucial for me to think about. Also, he really emphasized the need for us to be using the data that we already are collecting. This is something that I think is going to be important for services going forward, to really try and help upskill those who perhaps don't have a research background, haven't necessarily worked on collecting data or using data before, but really helping all services think about, we are collecting data all the time based on the patient records that we have. How can we use this data in a meaningful way to either advocate for more funding, to advocate for our patients, or to advocate for collaboration and strengthen the services that we have? So I actually think it would be really interesting for us to consider running a session on how to best use data in the services that people are placed in. So a few really key standout points. Of course, at Addictions, we're not just covering drug and alcohol addiction, but we are also looking at behavioral addictions, gambling being a well-established behavioral addiction, but also, delving into other areas like social media. We saw the recent social media ban, or maybe not so recent now, but the social media ban that came into place in Australia, and we are seeing questionable outcomes from that now. It's not to say that the longer term impact won't be incredibly useful, but in terms of how many young people have actually been turned away from social media, I think the jury's still out on that one. But it is really nice to see that the conference can really cover a broad spectrum of addictions, and also recognizes that addiction doesn't just exist in a silo. It's not just about drugs, alcohol, gambling. It's about trauma. It's about the justice system. It's about workplaces. It's about housing. It's about family violence. It's about all these kinds of things that intersect. And really, in order to kind of make impact in one area like addictions, we need to be considering all of those factors as well. So that's a bit of a debrief from me. As the conference chair, as the MC, I was thrilled to be in that role. I've done it for the last couple of years. It is always an honor and a pleasure to host the conference. And that said, I cannot wait until next year. If you're watching this, if you're a service, if you're an individual, if you're someone who's thinking of applying to present for next year, don't hesitate to reach out. Happy to answer any questions you guys might have. But I guess that's all from me for now. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll check in with you guys soon.